There's a question that haunts the quiet moments of our lives, usually when things are going well. It is a question we rarely ask aloud, but our bodies ask it constantly. The question is, when will the other shoe drop? Imagine this scenario. You have had a perfect day. You woke up rested. The coffee tasted exactly right. You received good news at work. A project succeeded. Or perhaps a financial worry was lifted. You come home, and your relationship feels stable, warm, connected. The evening stretches out before you, full of peace. And then it happens. A tightness in the chest, a shallowing of the breath, a sudden, intrusive thought about a car accident, or a health scare, or a bill you might have forgotten. Instead of leaning into the warmth of the moment, you recoil. You tighten. You scan the horizon for a threat that isn't there. You are standing in the middle of a beautiful field, but your nervous system is acting as if you are in a trench during a war. This is the great paradox of the human experience. We spend our entire lives chasing happiness. We build our careers, our homes, and our families in pursuit of it. We say we want peace. We say we want joy. But when it actually arrives, when it stands on our doorstep, unmasked and radiant, we treat it like an intruder. We brace ourselves against it. We view it with suspicion. We think, this is too good to be true. And because it feels too good to be true, we unconsciously set out to destroy it, just to return to a level of anxiety that feels safe. In this video, we are going to explore the psychology of the upper limit. We are going to uncover why you resist your own joy, not because you are ungrateful, but because your biology is trying to protect you. We're going to look at the hidden barriers, the scarcity mindset, the burden of unworthiness, and the terror of vulnerability that keep you from accepting the good things you deserve. If you have ever felt like you are your own worst enemy when things are going right, this is for you. To understand why we sabotage joy, we first have to understand the concept of homeostasis. Your body is a biological machine designed to maintain a steady state. If you walk into a sauna and your body temperature rises, you sweat to cool down. If you walk into the snow and your temperature drops, you shiver to generate heat. Your body fights aggressively to stay in the middle, to stay at normal. Psychologists have discovered that your psyche has a similar mechanism, but instead of temperature, it regulates emotional intensity. Author Gay Hendricks calls this the upper limit problem. Imagine your capacity for happiness is set like a thermostat on a wall. This setting was programmed a long time ago. It was programmed by your childhood, by your past trauma, perhaps even by the generational trauma of your ancestors. Let's say your internal thermostat is set to 70 degrees of happiness. This is your baseline. It's comfortable. It's familiar. Now, let's say something wonderful happens. You fall in love. You get massive raise. You have a spiritual breakthrough. Suddenly, your internal temperature spikes to 90 degrees. You are flooded with positive energy. You are soaring. But your subconscious mind does not see this as good. It sees this as a fever. Your internal security system starts flashing red lights. Alert, it says. We are operating outside of approved parameters. This is unsafe. We are too exposed. Return to baseline immediately. And so, cooling mechanisms kick in. But in the emotional world, cooling down looks like self-sabotage. You pick a fight with your partner over something that doesn't matter, just to create distance. You suddenly remember a mistake you made 5 years ago, flooding your body with shame. You get physically sick, a headache, a stomach ache, right before a big celebration. You procrastinate on the very project that is bringing you success. You do these things not because you are broken, and not because you are ungrateful. You do them to lower the temperature. You do them to bring yourself back down to the 70 degrees of manageable dissatisfaction. Because to the primitive part of your brain, familiar misery is safer than unfamiliar joy. The devil you know is always safer than the angel you don't. This is why we sabotage. We are trying to get back home, even if home is a place of suffering. One of the primary materials used to build this wall against joy is the scarcity mindset. Somewhere along the line, many of us internalized a fundamental lie about the nature of the universe. We came to believe that life is a zero-sum game. We believe that good things are a limited resource, like water in a desert. The logic of scarcity whispers, if I am happy now, I will have to pay for it later. We treat joy like a loan from a predatory lender. We believe the interest rate is tragedy. We think, if I laugh too loud today, the universe will make me cry tomorrow to balance the scales. This is not just paranoia. It is a relic of ancient survival instincts. Think about your ancestors. For thousands of years, resources were scarce. A feast today genuinely might mean a famine tomorrow. To be too relaxed, to be too joyful, meant lowering your guard. If you were laughing around the fire, you weren't listening for the tiger in the bushes. So we evolved to treat joy with suspicion. We evolved to keep one eye open. In the modern world, this manifests as magical thinking. Do you ever find yourself worrying on purpose? Do you feel that if you stop worrying, that is the moment disaster will strike? We use anxiety as a form of superstition. We believe that our worry is a shield. We think that by anticipating the disaster, by staying slightly miserable, we are warding off the evil eye. We think our unhappiness is the insurance premium we pay to keep the people we love safe. And so, when joy arrives, we panic. We feel we are forgetting to pay the premium. So we sabotage the joy to beat the universe to the punch. We reject a compliment before it can be taken back. We break up with the person before they can leave us. We downplay our success before anyone can criticize it. We create the obstacle ourselves because a disaster of our own making feels controllable. A disaster that strikes from our blind spot feels terrifying. We choose the pain of self-sabotage over the pain of being blindsided by life. But here's the truth you need to hear. The universe is not keeping a scorecard. Happiness is not a pie that runs out. Your joy does not rob someone else of theirs, and your suffering does not buy anyone else safety. Deeper than the fear of disaster lies a quieter, more insidious barrier. This is the barrier of unworthiness. This is the voice that whispers, "Who do you think you are?" In many cultures, and perhaps in your specific family dynamic, suffering was linked to virtue. We are taught that to be good is to be self-sacrificing. To be productive is to be exhausted. To be worthy is to be constantly striving, constantly bleeding for your keep. Therefore, happiness, pure, unearned, resting happiness, feels like a sin. It feels like cheating. When joy arrives without struggle, when you are given a gift you didn't bleed for, the feeling of unworthiness rises up to reject it. This is the imposter syndrome of the soul. How does this manifest? It manifests in the inability to take a compliment. When someone tells you, "You did a great job," what do? Do you say thank you? Or do you immediately deflect? Do you say, "Oh, it was nothing," or point out a flaw in your own work? That deflection is a defense mechanism. You are pushing away the energy of appreciation because it conflicts with your internal narrative of unworthiness. It manifests in the inability to celebrate. You reach a massive goal. You cross the finish line. And instead of taking a moment to feel the pride, to soak in the victory, you immediately set a new, harder goal. You move the goalpost. You say, "That didn't count. I need to do more." You keep yourself on the treadmill of achievement because you are afraid that if you stop running, you will be exposed. You are waiting for someone to tap you on the shoulder and say, "Excuse me, There's been a mistake. You don't belong here. You are not good enough for this happiness. But there's no mistake. Joy is not a reward for suffering. Joy is not a paycheck you earn by being miserable. Joy is a natural state of being that you have blocked. You do not need to earn the sunlight. You just have to step out of the shade. We must now confront the most difficult truth of all. The reason we resist joy is that joy is the most vulnerable emotion we can feel. Dr. Brené Brown, a researcher on vulnerability, calls this foreboding joy. She describes the moment when you are watching your children sleep. They are peaceful. The light is beautiful. You are filled with a love so intense it hurts. And in that exact second, your mind is flooded with images of tragedy. You imagine them getting hurt. You imagine a crash. You imagine them leaving. Why? Why does the human mind poison its purest moments with its darkest thoughts? Because joy takes down our armor. To be truly happy is to be soft. To be truly happy is to be exposed. To love something is to admit that you have something to lose. If you have nothing, you can lose nothing. Depression is safe. It is a flat line. Cynicism is safe. It is a suit of armor. Numbness is safe. It is a bunker. But joy is standing in the middle of the battlefield without a shield, arms wide open. And so, to protect ourselves from the potential pain of future loss, we numb the joy in the present. We engage in what psychologists call pre-grieving. We mourn the relationship before it ends. We mourn the job before we lose it. We mourn our health while we are still vibrant. We tell ourselves, if I don't let myself feel this fully, it won't hurt as much when it's gone. We try to beat the pain to the punch line, but this is a lie. Numbing the joy does not protect you from the pain. It does not reduce the impact of tragedy. If the worst happens, you will be devastated whether you're worried about it or not. But by numbing the joy, you are ensuring that you suffer twice. Once in your imagination, every single day, and once in reality if it happens. You are robbing yourself of the very resilience you will need if hard times come. You are starving yourself in anticipation of hunger. So, how do we break this cycle? How do we reset the thermostat? The good news is that these are learned patterns. And because they are learned, they can be unlearned. But, and this is crucial, we cannot dismantle these walls with a sledgehammer. You cannot force yourself to be happy. That is too violent for a nervous system that is already scared. If you try to force positive vibes on a trauma response, you will only trigger more anxiety. We must use a process called titration. Titration is a chemistry term. It means adding one drop of a powerful substance at a time, allowing it to integrate before adding another. We must do this with joy. Here is the practice. The next time you feel a moment of joy, a warm cup of tea, a laugh with a friend, a moment of pride in your work, and you feel that internal clench, stop. Do not push the joy away. Do not grasp it tightly. Try and make it last forever. Just notice the contraction. Pause. Take a breath. And consciously try to extend the feeling of safety for just 10 seconds. Say to your nervous system, I am feeling joy right now, and I am safe. No tiger is coming. The other shoe is not dropping. I am just drinking tea. Let your body taste the happiness. Let it digest it. When the scarcity thoughts come, this won't last. Recognize them as thoughts, not prophecies. Smile at them. Say, thank you for trying to protect me, but I don't need you right now. You are slowly stretching your capacity. You are expanding the container. You are teaching your thermostat that 75 degrees is safe, then 80, then 90. It is a practice of courage. It takes bravery to be happy in a cynical world. It takes bravery to be soft in a hard world. But it is time. It is time to build a new relationship with happiness. One where joy isn't a fleeting visitor you view with suspicion, but a welcomed resident in your home. You are allowed to be happy. You are allowed to rest without earning it. You are allowed to love without anticipating the end. The walls you built to keep the pain out are keeping the sunlight out. It is time to let a little bit of light in.